Hi everybody, Joe from Britical Saiyans here, and today I'm going through my Cell deck profile because thanks to Crossworlds, it's been updated. So, main focus still hasn't changed, using Cell and other Android cards to force discard, so it's much easier for you to kill your opponent. As always, I'll go through each card, so we'll start off with the leader. So, his active main, once per turn, you can place a card from your hand under this card, choose which one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less, and KO that card. So that can be quite handy early game, especially if you've got stuff that you don't need. And then, to awaken, it's at 4 life you draw 2, into Ultimate Life Form Cell. So, one of my major gripes about this is that it doesn't have the auto of when you attack draw a card. So, like, it makes up for it with its own abilities, but you know, it's just nice to have that. So, first active main, once per turn, you can place a card from your hand under this one. If you do, draw 2 cards. Second one, once per turn again, active main. Place 2 cards from under this card into drop. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So, we get the draw power by placing cards under, and then we get the benefit of killing just any battle card, provided that it can be killed. So we're not limited to like energy cost, it's just having cards under Cell. So pretty useful. So going into the extra cards as always, we have 4 copies of Cell's Birth. So this card is pretty essential to the deck just to make like your energy easier, and it means that you can cap yourself at a like lower amount of energy than you would need to for the card. So you can just like, I tend to try and cap myself at 6. Unless I need to pay the hard 7 for Cell. But anyway, permanent. If your leader is Cell, reduce the cost of the energy cost of all cells in your hand by 2. So very useful. And then auto, when you place Cell, place this card to drop. So wouldn't really use it in any other deck besides the Cell, but obviously that's what it's for. It just makes everything cheaper. You have to pay like specified cost, so if it says like 2 green but it's only like a 3, you're still paying the 2. I realise that now, didn't realise that when I first did this deck, so but yeah, it just makes things easier. Your 5 drops become 3 drops, your 7 drops become 5, so very good for the deck. Definitely run 4 of it if you can, or if it suits your playstyle. Next we have 2 copies of Create Android. So this is a new one from Crossworlds. Active main, if your lead card is Android, which we are because Cell counts, draw 2 cards and then place 1 card from your hand into drop. So it's good at the start of the game because you can draw 2 and maybe just dump one of the ones you drew, so you're just gaining a card. I only run the 2 though because of it having to dump 2, and after a certain point I don't need it. It's just there for like the initial build up, so if I don't see, like if I've got androids in my hand but I don't have Cell, it's just like, okay, well, create android, oh look, there's a Cell, draw, dump one with spare androids because I've got enough to do the chain, so it's handy. We have 2 copies of King Vegeta's Surprise Attack. So again, something at 2 because I'm not tending to use it a lot, but it's just handy to have. So active battle, choose up to one of your battle cards. It gains 10,000 power and revenge. So when this card is attacked, carry the attacking card after battle for the duration of turn. So say you manage to play the 7 drop quite quickly, you know, you just get the chain out as fast as you can, and then you swing. Afterwards your opponent might be like, okay, well, I've got enough cards to combo and kill it at 35, I will do that. So then you're just like, okay, well, I will play King Vegeta's Surprise Attack, make him a 40k throughout the turn, and anything else you swing at it is going to die. Which is very useful because it means that you keep them for longer, and it's not just a, yeah, I've done my like on-play effects, okay, goodbye Cell, I've just spent like 5 cards from hand building you, but who cares. So yeah, quite a handy card. Next we have 4 copies of Speedy Surprise Attack. So this has replaced the old negate, which was full power energy, because it's tailored to androids, which is nice. So counter attack, negate the attack, then If your leader is Android, you may place one card from your hand to the drop area. If you do so, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less and KO it. So, it negates the attack, primary reason to run it, and my ability afterwards is just useful. If they've got some small stuff that you want to get rid of, maybe they've got a Kaba, or you know it's an evolution target, it's just like, yeah, no, get rid of that, Sonny. So it's a nice option to have. It does play more into like the other Android decks, but it's still useful. So, and yeah, like, because it has a higher energy amount of like what you can kill and full power energy, it's definitely worth running instead. Because instead of being like, oh, it has to be a 1, it's like, ah, it's anywhere between 1 and 3. Cool, I've got options there. So finally, in the extra cards, we have 2 copies of To Save a Hopeful Future. So this is another one from Crossworlds. It's a 4-drop, unlike the rest of them. 3 green required to be paid. So active main, choose one of your green battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less in your drop and play it. So this is very useful because if we lose a bit of cell that we need early on, or just a battle card that's been causing some trouble to begin with, you can bring it back. I only run 2 because it's such a high cost. It replaced my Cell's Absorption because with how the deck works now, I don't really need it. And this means that if my opponent's been like, oh, well, you haven't fully done the cell chain, I'm going to kill the 5-drop before you can do anything, I just be like, okay, cool, Hopeful Future, bring it back. Now I'm going to carry on since you've done that. So it's a useful card to have, and because it can bring back green, that's basically everything in the deck. The only thing it can't bring back is our Perfect Cell, but oh well, it can bring back everything else in the deck, which is lovely. So going into the battle cards now, for the 1-drop, we have 4 copies of Dr. Gero, Evil's Inventor. So this is like one that I was playing about, like, do I run 4? And I essentially just went, yeah, run 4. It's very useful. So also, when you play this card, look at the top 3 cards for your deck, choose one Android, add it to hand and shuffle. So much like every other deck, it's our like 1-drop searcher. So it's useful for that. If we were able to do the cell, like if we could build into the cell chain, so say we've got the 3-drop and the 17, but we don't have an 18, and we know that there's the 5 and the 7 in deck, we could just be like, okay, Dr. Gero, oh look, there's what I need. And if not, you just have something to combo / energy, and once you play the Gero, you can just combo him off. Or if your opponent kills, it's like, oh no, I don't care. So going into the 2-drops, we have our super combos. So there's 2 copies of Stout-Hearted Android 16 and 2 copies of Trunks Protector of Children. So the reason I've done this is I like the 16. It's a very good super combo for androids because also when you combo with this card, if your leader is Android and your life is 4 or less, your opponent chooses a card from their hand and places it in the drop area. This card gains 10,000 combo power, and Trunks, as we all know, when you combo with him, if your leader is green and you're on 4 or less, draw a card, 10,000 combo power. So they're both very good. I considered how many 16 I run for a while, and I settled on 2 because he doesn't draw us cards, which is what I like about super combos, just being like, okay, huge amount of power and draw. I mean, it's good in fact that you get to get rid of something from your opponent's hand, which if they're on 2 cards in hand, say, they go down to 1, it's like, okay, cool, the rest of my turn's so much easier. You've got like 1 option, unless you've got battle cards, but we're going purely by hand situation here. So yeah, like it's searchable through Dr. Gero as well, which is handy. Haha. But I'd rather just run the 2, because then with Trunks we can still draw, and if there isn't really much to take from the opponent's hand, it's just like, oh well. Or if we're low on hand, we don't want to be like, okay, well I'll play a super combo and reduce your hand, because you might need the hand for your turn. Well, for your opponent's turn, it's just like, ah, yeah, really wish I had the Trunks now. So, moving on to the free drops, we have 2 copies of Android 15 Just Saying Hi. So, it's a fairly useful card. It's free drop with 15k. Auto, when you play this card, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and place it in drop. So, it's just a nice little bit of discarding, which we love in this deck. And because it's Android, it's searchable. So, it's just useful. There is, I'll do these as pairs because they're basically the same thing. So we have 2 copies of Dreadful Duo Android 17 and Dreadful Duo Android 18. So they're both free drops with 15k. They both have critical, and the 17 is active main once per turn, pay green energy. During that turn, if an opponent's battle card with an energy cost of 3 or less has been placed into drop area by any one of your skills, choose up to one Android 18 with an energy cost of 3 or less from hand and play it, which is the Dreadful Duo or the Twin Sister. And with 18, active main once per turn, tap a green. During that turn, if an opponent's battle card with an energy cost of 4 or more has been placed in the drop area by any one of your skills, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less and KO it. So they work quite well as a combo, because 17 brings up the 18, you can use the 18 skill to cause some more disruption, and if anything else, they're just more targets for our cell chain, which is always helpful. So they're definitely worth running. Plus the critical, as we all know, is harsh, so always good to run it if you can. Next we have 4 copies of Growing Evil Lifeform Cell. So he is Union Absorb, choose an Android 17 from hand, place it onto this card, search for a cell with an energy cost of 5 or less and place it on top of this one, and then shuffle the deck. So he's the start on our cell chain, or you might just use him to go into the other 5 drop, but yeah, this is just the start of the cell chain because of how they work, so always run him at 4. Next there is 2 copies of Iron Hammer of Justice Android 16. So he has Blocker and Revenge. So Revenge, the whole if he's attacked, KO the attacking card. And the auto skill of when this card KOs your opponent's battle cards, switch this card to active mode. So you can use them to attack. If you kill their card, it's like cool, I have him back for my turn. Or just during your opponent's turn, you can be like Blocker, throw a bit in to save him. Oh look, your thing died, I switch him back to active mode. Lovely jubbly. So yeah, good to run. I only run 2 because the deck space is very difficult for him. So, yep. If you want to run more you can, me preferably, I don't mind a bit too. Next, and well finally in the free drops we have the Twin Brother Android 17 and Twin Sister Android 18. Again, doing these together because their effects are similar. So, auto once per turn when this card attacks, you may place 1 card from your hand to drop it. If you do so, choose 1 Android 18 in your battle area, switch it to active, and her effect's the same. So, when it attacks, dump a card and switch Android 17 back to active. So, they're useful in tandem, but I preferably just chuck them for the cell chain. They're good targets for it because then you don't lose cards from hand, and you don't really want to play them unless you do want to just do that like tandem fighting, but I don't, so bugger them. Moving into the 4 drop, we have 2 copies of Unfeeling Destroy Android 15. So say 20k attack power, you pay 2 green plus 2 whatever, and he has the also when you play his card, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and places it into the drop area. If that card is a battle card for an energy cost of 4 or more, draw a card. So very useful after you've done cell chain, or just when we have 4 energy we can play them out, force them to discard. If they do go with something big because it's their best option, you draw. If not, oh well, you still force a discard, and then you just got a 20k beat stick with a 0 cost onto the combo. So that's another reason I put them in. It's like, well, He's big and I can combo with him very easily if I need to. Plus the force discard is what we're after. So moving into the 5-drops, we have 4 copies of Evolving Evil Lifeform Cell. So this is the second part on our cell chain. He has 20k power. Union Absorb, you place an Android 18 on this card, choose one cell from your deck, place it on top of this one and shuffle. So that could be another copy of him if you really wanted. If you want to be very weird and throw off your opponent, you can go into the 3-drop. But you mostly use them to get out the 7-drop because then you don't have to pay 7 energy. So yeah. Or the hard 6 to evolve it. You're just like, okay, place an Android 18, boom. He has double strike. And you also, when you play this card with Union, draw a card, then you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So, if your opponent doesn't have battle cards, you still get the draw, which is nice. And a 20k double striker can be handy. I'm glad I'm actually able to run 4 now, because we found one, so.
Did you? Oh.
Yeah, draft
Oh.
one. So finally in 5-drops we have a singular copy of Power Stealing Cell. So, mostly because it's a promotional card. Sad. So yeah, this is double strike, and also when you play this card, you may choose one card in your life, add it to your hand. If you do so, your opponent chooses a card from their hand and place it in drop. So, it's a bit of self-awakening. That's one major weakness of this deck. I can't really self-awaken, but oh well. Like, I managed fine, and if not, it's like, well, I will just antagonise you into beating the hell out of my leader. So, whether that's by just not playing anything, or just being a bit of an ass myself, but yeah, preferably if you can run more, do so, because this can be a self-awakening instead of something like TN. But otherwise, it's just a nice little target for cell evolutions, and being able to get rid of one from your opponent's hand and then go with a 20k double strike is a bit nasty. And finally, we have our infamous 7-drop, of which there are 3. Perfect Force Cell. And I'm always showing off my super special golden one, because I can. So, yep, 7-drop, you can pay 2 green, 30k power. He evolves to 6 on top of the cell. He has double strike, and you also have, when you play this card, if your leader is an android, so it can go in any android deck, but it's mostly using cell because it's thematic. Your opponent chooses cards in their hand until there's 3 remaining, and then you place the rest of the cards in the drop. So you force your opponent down to 3 cards in hand, which if they've spent their turn building up hand, it's like, cool, nice building you've done there, get rid of it. And you can force some nasty stuff out, like depending on the game state as well. They might be like, oh, unfortunately the best thing for me to lose is a super combo or another negate. And then after you've done that, you just swing 30k double strike, and that's also why we run King Vegeta, because the moment you've done that, your opponent's pissed off himself and they're like, I'm gonna kill it. It's like, cool, King Vegeta, good luck. So yeah, I only run the 3 because 1, pull rate, and 2, any more than that and you might start to clog up, but again, it's down to your personal preference. And so with that, that is the updated Cell deck profile, and as always, thank you for watching. Bye.